ground those feet to the earth. Let's take some nice deep full breaths up. Inhale up and exhale down in the chair pose, sitting the hips back, keeping the spine straight from tailbone to top of the head. And let's just flow and breathe and move at our own pace. So if you're anxious and stressed, or you want to work a little harder, you can move a little faster. And if you're lethargic and feeling slow today or depressed, I want you to start out slow. So you always want to meet yourself where you are, and then as we go, try to go to the opposite direction. So if you are feeling depressed, you want to start slow, work your way to faster and bigger and more, you know. And then if you're hyper and overstressed, you want to start yourself a little fast and work your way down into relaxed, more relaxed by the end. So faster or slower at the beginning, and then work your way in that opposite direction to create some balance. Great. Now let's take our left foot forward and our right foot back. So no matter how it looks on the screen, take your left foot forward and your right foot back. Take some nice deep breaths. Hold the core strong. Breathe. And just open up this hip flexor. You can add any arm stretches to that. You could do football goalpost arms. You could do arms straight up. Take some nice deep breaths. You pick the arms. You're in that lunge. And then let's switch. Right foot forward, left foot back. Open up that hip flexor. You pick the arms. Feel those feet grounded to the earth. Take some nice deep breaths. And then let's come up. So we have the left foot to the top right corner of your mat. Left foot, top right corner. Now we're going to slide the right foot, and it doesn't have to be in the exact corner. Give it a little bit of space. We're going to slide the right foot straight back, and then keep the left knee bent. We're going to tap to the other edge of the mat and back. So you're holding your lunge, and you're just going to tap to the right side and to the left side of that mat. Breathe. Keep your focal point. Hold your core tight. Just moving back and forth. Good. Great. And let's stand up from that. Feel that burn a little bit. Walk to the back of the mat. Walk to the front of the mat. Right foot in the top left corner of the mat. Go straight back with the left foot. And so keep that right foot bent and stable. And then let's tap to one edge of the mat and the other. So right and left, about 10 to 15 or 16 of those. Keep that front knee bent. Keep the chin up, the abs in. And then when you're ready, stand up. Just kind of gently walk to the back. Come back up. Inhale up. Exhale, chair. Good. Now, if you have a little squeeze object, it could be a pillow or a yoga block or a ball, squeeze that in between the inner thighs. Grab the heaviest dumbbells that you feel like you could do your chair pose with. In and out of chair pose just 10 times, so it could be pretty heavy because it's only 10 times. So we're standing strong and tall. You can hold those dumbbells by your sides, on your hips, on your thighs, on your shoulders, as long as they're not on the clavicle bone, or you can hold them directly over your shoulders as you move in and out of that chair. So you pick what's the appropriate one for you. Core tight, and just in and out of that chair pose, keeping the chin up, keeping the abs in, not letting the knees out past the toes. We're gonna do that 10 total times, just 10. And 10. Great job. Bring these arms down. We're going to go into a forward fold. Dumbbells on the middle of the thighs, knees slightly bent, spine straight. Squeeze the pelvic floor, really squeezing that squeeze object. Arms hanging from the shoulders, but shoulders in the sockets. Now we're gonna row one arm and then the other, back and forth, up to 10 on each side. Adjust the weight as needed. You can go up in weight, down in weight, however that feels to you right now. We're only gonna do 10 max on each side. So you can probably tell right now if you need to go up in weight, or if you need to go down in weight, or just stop a little early. If it's really heavy for you, just stop a little early. So it's up to 10. Keep that spine straight, keep breathing. Maintaining good posture, maintaining that breath flow. Pull, get that row. Great, and then just sit in your chair pose. So you're sitting back in that chair pose, chin up, spine straight, hips back, knees not out past the toes, feet grounded. See if you can wiggle your toes. So you're keeping your weight in the ball of the foot and in the heel. You're keeping that ball between the inner thighs contracted, and you're just holding that chair pose. Great job. Let's set the weights down. Nice, big, deep, full breath. Let's go into a forward fold. Bend the knees, stomach on the thighs, hands on the earth. Maybe look at the earth, shake the head. You can have the hands on the shins or hold the back of the legs, but try to get the stomach on the thighs. Then when you're ready, try to gently straighten the legs, but don't take the stomach off the thighs. That's going to give you your natural stop. That's going to stop you from going into the discs in the back, so it's going to protect those discs. You might hang your head. You might do opposite hand to opposite elbow. Get a really good stretch there, forward fold. And then let's work our way up to standing and get rid of the squeeze object. Let's go back to the lunge. Doesn't matter which side, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And let's get the front of this hip to open up. So the very front of the hip on the back leg, whatever leg's back, open up the front of that hip. Hip, knees, toes, hips, and shoulders all pointing forward. Open the heart and breathe. Chin parallel to the earth. Great, and let's switch sides. So stretching those legs, but also working the legs isometrically. So yoga poses do build tone and definition and strength because your muscles are holding the positions. So here you're in your lunge, you're stretching that front of the hip on the back leg. The very front of that hip's where you should feel that stretch. Some people have to go wider. Some people have to tilt the pelvis. Some people have to drop the knee more. But find the front of the hip. So we're working these leg muscles isometrically. I'm sure you can feel that by now. So we're working and holding and breathing. Great. Let's come up. We're going to use our ball. If you don't have a ball, you're going to work your way to the floor. You can do a yoga flow to the floor, like a half, like on the way down sun salutations or anything that works for you, especially if you need extra time to get to the floor, go ahead and do that. If you have an extra exercise ball, both of the next two exercises we'll be able to do with or without the ball, the big ball. Now, once you're on this big ball, you could take your squeeze object and put it between the inner thighs. That's optional once you're all the way out. So we're going to sit on the ball or sit on our bottom and lie back. So if you're without the ball, you're lying on your back, knees bent, feet on the floor. With the ball, we're going to slowly walk out until we get the head totally rested on the ball. So the head is on the ball and the head is not tipped back or the neck is not kinked. The neck's not kinked backwards or forward. It's really flat. pushing the head into the ball. Now pick those hips up into a bridge. So if you're on the floor, you can do the bridge or not. That's up to you. But if you're in the ball, I really want you to, on the ball, I want you to really pick up that bridge. All right. And then we're just going to chest press. So we're going to do 10 of these chest presses. Feel those feet grounded to the earth. Push that upper body down into the ball or into the floor. Keep the natural arch in the neck. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Then we're going to put these dumbbells right onto the hips. And they need to be, right in the hip joint or more towards the legs instead of on the belly. And then we're going to drop the hips down and pick the hips up. Whether you're doing it on the floor or on the ball, try not to let the butt touch the earth. So don't touch the earth, but almost. And then all the way up. You might need to hold those dumbbells to keep them from rolling or hurting your bones. Inhale on the way down. Exhale on the way up. We're only doing 10. Find those feet grounded. Moving with your breath. Be very focused on your movements and your contractions. Taking the brain and really connecting with that body. Every moving part, every non-moving part. Moving with that breath. And when you get to 10, great job. If you're on the floor, you're just going to stretch out long across the earth. Just stretch out the fingers and toes. And if you're on the ball, work your way into a back bend. You can walk those feet back a little bit and get deeper into that back bend. Keep the head on the ball. So if your head's off the ball, that kind of tells you to go back, get the head on the ball, and only go as far as you can with the head supported on that ball. This is a great place to learn how to do wheel pose or to train your back to do a full back bend. Is by gently doing it supported like this over a ball. And that's going to depend on how big that ball is and how tall you are compared to that ball, how successful you are with that. All right, so, and that just takes time. I think it took me about 6 months to a year of stretching over a ball to be able to do a full wheel yoga pose. All right, so if you're on the floor on your back, you're going to yoga flow your way back up to standing. If you need extra time to get up, take that time, flow, stretch, use assistance by furniture, whatever. And then once you're up, I want you to grab a drink of water. It's important to sip that water as we go. We are trying to do a little work and be a little gentle. We're trying to stretch and work. So we're taking care of ourselves as we go. We are going to get a band. So we can put that ball off to the side for now. We're going to get a band. And we're going to work in our warrior with a row or a bow and arrow. So you can set the dumbbells off to the side so you don't trip over them or so that they're not in your way. We're going to go to our mountain pose. Make sure we're comfortable through our feet, through our legs, through our upper body. We have the band in hand. So let's step back with one foot and take one arm in front, the same arm in front with the band of the leg that's in front. So if left foot's in front, left arm is in front. We're going to make sure we do not lock this elbow. We're going to grab this band and we're going to pull, row like this, a bow and arrow row, pulling, squeezing behind the shoulder blades. Just 10 of these, so make it hard enough where 10 is kind of hard. We're in a lunge. Great. And then drop that back foot at an angle where you're in warrior 2 pose, sorry. And make sure that knee's not caving in. And then let's pull and rotate a little more. So inhale, look. Exhale, rotate. So inhale, look over the front hand. Exhale, look over the back elbow. Inhale, front hand. Exhale, back elbow. 10 of those. Great job. Hold the core tight. Breathe and focus. Great job. Now let's step this back foot in just a tad. We still have the band, and let's straighten the front leg. So we're gonna open the hips to the long side of the mat. Adjust this back foot however you need to, where you're comfortable with the hips more open to the long side instead of the short side. And we're gonna take this back hand with the band behind our back. Now we're just gonna take the front hand and reach forward, gently reach forward, and drop that hand gently to the thigh. No pressure on the knee joint, whether the hand lands above or below or on. No pressure. This is a very light hand here. And we're going to slide down, and just open into a little triangle pose. You might find right away where it's tight. You're trying to keep this chest open to the long side of that mat. You're breathing. Great job. And we are going to come back to that in a moment. All right, so we're going to switch sides. You can just go back to mountain and switch legs. I'm going to switch sides so my moving side is closer to the camera. So we're inhaling up in our mountain pose, our volcano pose, Tadasana. Oh, feel those feet grounded to the earth. Oh. Let's step back with the other leg. So we're going to lunge first. The front leg is the same side front arm, holding the band. Reach up, grab that band. Don't lock the elbow, but keep it straight and pull straight back. We're not rotating in that first 10. We're holding that nice and strong. We're pulling that back. We're making it hard enough where we're challenged. Inhale as you release. Exhale as you pull back. Grounded in that front heel. That front knee is over that front heel. Once you get to your 10, bring the arms down. Drop the back foot at an angle. Find that warrior 3 leg position. Nice deep breath. Hold this up. And now we're going to pull and rotate. So look over the front hand. Look over the back elbow. Inhale. Exhale. Great job. Now let's step that back foot in just a tad, just a good step. Open the hips to that long side of the mat. Take the back hand, this back hand with the back foot behind the back. Straighten this front leg. Gently reach out, bending at the hip. Reach out like you're going to shake somebody's hand out there. And then just drop that hand to that leg gently into a triangle pose. Open this front shoulder. This is not about how low you can go. This is how open you can be. So you really want to be open through this side body. Or I'm sorry, open through the heart sideways. Great. So let's shake that out a little bit. Let's go long ways on the mat. Let's actually keep the band. Let's put it underneath those armpits. So get it high up under the arms. Hold the band back here by those armpits. Legs are nice and wide. And just take a moment and kind of flow in those legs. Nice deep breath. And then we'll plie down or sumo squat down and do hug a tree. So we'll inhale, open up. Exhale, hug a tree like you're wrapping your arms around a tree trunk and you're really sucking that belly in tight. Use that exhale to pull that belly in tight. Great job. Then keep the band. And we're going to go do the same legs, but press with the elbows low and straight out. So 10 of those. Great, and let's bring this in. So let's adjust the back foot, turn it in, and turn the other leg straight ahead. So we have the front foot pointing forward, we have the back foot at an angle, we have the legs in triangle, we're not locking the knees, but they're pretty straight. Take the band to the back hand, behind that low back. Let's take this front hand and slide that down, or reach, hinging at that hip, and then drop the hand where it falls. Get the heart open. Now, you see the band hanging down there between my legs, right? So you're gonna reach down and grab the band between your legs, and then come up, back up with that front leg straight, and try to get that torso lowered into a bound triangle. And only go as low as you feel comfortable. You're not rounding that spine. You're keeping the spine straight from tailbone to top of the head. And just reach down and grab that band. Now, some of you might be flexible enough to hold hands behind your back. You wouldn't need the band. All right, we're going to turn those feet. So we're pretty much in the right distance, but if you need to readjust that distance, go ahead. The band is in the hand with the back leg. Wrap that around the low back, straighten the hip. Reach out from the hip, drop that hand down, give yourself a moment to find that stretch, and then go down and grab and find that band. Hold the band on each end, bring that torso back into alignment, open to the long side of that mat, and then hinge forward at that hip, trying to get that spine really straight. So a bound triangle pose. Nice big deep full breath. And let's come on up. All right, shake that out a little bit. Let's keep the band. You might double it or quadruple it. Hold it in each hand, kind of close to the body. Cross the ankle, cross the ankles, and lift that band up. So then whatever leg's underneath, you're gonna push that hip out, and then the arms go in the opposite direction. So the hip and the arms go in opposite directions. Nice deep breath. And then let's come up and switch sides. Open that up, breathe. Great. Now we're gonna go back to our wide leg stance, Pada Prasarita Tadasana, wide leg mountain. Grab your heavy dumbbells. You can generally do pretty heavy with this plie position or sumo squat position or Pada Prasarita Tadasana. So we'll inhale down, exhale up and squeeze. Breathe. Feel those feet grounded to the earth. Focus, move up and down with that. 10 of those. Make sure the knees aren't out past the toes. Keep the chin up parallel to the earth. You hold the core strong. And then let's step to mountain pose. So mountain pose, go to your mountain, and we're gonna go into a chair pose and a bicep curl. So standing nice and strong, hips go back, dumbbells come towards the shoulders. Inhale up, exhale down. We're gonna do 10 of those, so find your focal point, find your grounding through those feet. Make sure the knees don't come out past the toes, and just flow with that. Up to 10 of those. Control the movement. Keep the abs strong. Great job. And then let's stand grounded on those feet. We're going to do a little waist bend. So we are not moving in the hips or the legs. We're acting like we're in cement. We're standing strong. And the only thing moving is the waist or between the ribs and the hips. Right and left. Breathe. Little waist bend. Great. All right, so now let's get one dumbbell or two lighter dumbbells, up to you. We are gonna go overhead and do a tricep overhead press like that. So if the overhead is not okay for you, get 2 lighter dumbbells and you can do a kick back. So tricep kick back. You hold the elbow up and squeeze the back of the arm. So we're standing nice and strong and tall in our mountain. We're not locking our knees. We're finding those feet grounded to the earth. We're lifting that dumbbell up. Or if you're doing the kickback, you're bending forward, hinging at the hip, keeping the spine nice and straight. So this is the overhead press. Do that up to 10. Or if you need that kickback, you got both arms going and you're bent over and you're kicking that back like that. Elbow bent, tricep overhead press or tricep kickback. Nice big deep full breaths. Squeeze the back of those arms. We're just going to 10. And great job. We'll set that dumbbell down. Now we're going to yoga flow for a moment, and then when we come back, I want you to think about how much weight could you hold and safely go into a shoulder press overhead. Think about that while we're doing the next round. If you have a shoulder injury, I'm going to have you do just a side shoulder raise where you don't bring it too high. So as we flow, think about what you need for those shoulders. We're going to inhale up, exhale chair, and then flow in and out of that chair. Option to do ankle on the knee. Find your focal point first, ankle on the knee, and do a one-legged chair back and forth. So you would inhale up, mountain, exhale, one-legged chair, or do both feet grounded on the earth, regular chair. In and out of that at your own pace. Head up, chest up, abs in, chin parallel to the earth, flowing and moving. Ah. And then meet me in mountain. Let's step back into that lunge. Let's inhale up. Exhale, dive down. Remember which leg is in front. Stomach on the thigh. Gently straighten the back of that leg, keeping the stomach on the thigh. That's going to protect those low back discs and make you go into the hamstring. When the back comes off the thigh, we're more in our back instead of in the hamstring. In the front leg there, find that hamstring stretch. And then let's step back when you're ready into down dog. You can take your time. You can go ahead and flow. If you want to flow, like a chaturanga flow or anything like that, you can add that in. You can add anything here you want, or you can just hold the down dog. It's up to you. You might move the legs a little in your down dog. Keep the fingers spread, middle fingers forward, whatever feels good to you. And then we'll go into an arm plank, keeping those shoulders nice and strong. Inhale the hips up. Exhale into that arm plank. Hold the core tight. Inhale up. Exhale down. We're going to do that 10 times. Building strength to the hands, wrists, arms, shoulders, chest, back, and core. Squeeze that pelvic floor. That's part of that core. Squeeze the glutes and inner thighs. Breathe. And then let's go down into all fours. You can do cat-cow here or extended arm child's pose to a cobra. That balasana, you could stay in the balasana or the child's pose and just breathe there and rest there if you need more rest. If you've been really stressed, you might just keep the child's pose to breathe and kind of regain your focus and your calm. Or you might need to move and flow. Whatever feels right for you at this moment. And then let's lie down on our stomach with our hands under our forehead. Look at me really quickly while I show you this move so you can see it first. The hands are going to go on the forehead. We're going to bend one knee. We're going to lift that knee off the ground 10 times. So go ahead and get in that position. Hold the core strong. Flex that foot like you're trying to push that heel towards the ceiling. We're squeezing around the sacrum, the bottom of the spine, the low back, and in that glute. Really good exercise if you sit a lot, like at a desk or in a car or on the couch. You want to really open up the front of that hip and strengthen the back of that hip. Do that on both sides. And then back to Sphinx, elbows underneath the shoulders. Option to spread those fingers on the earth in front of the elbows and then extend the elbows to get a little deeper back bend. And we'll all work our way back into child's pose, Balasana. Take a nice deep breath into the back. Really use your breath to stretch your back. And then come up all fours, curl the toes under. And, or actually, I'll give you a couple options. You can be in all fours, come up on your knees, step forward with that same foot that was forward earlier, and be in a low lunge. Or you can do extended arm child's pose to down dog. Lift that leg that was in front up into three-legged dog, and then swoop it forward and be in a higher lunge. So your choice. Do you want the lower lunge or the higher lunge? Find that. We're all going to the high lunge eventually. So whichever one you want, low or high. Nice, deep, full breath. And then let's come up on that back leg. And we're in our lunge. Drop the back foot to go into warrior three. So we're in our warrior three. Reach through those arms. Nice, deep, full breath. Drop the back hand to the thigh. Lift that front hand up. Inhale up. Exhale. Really open up, breathe. Reverse warrior. And then drop that front elbow or slide that front arm down that front leg and reach this back arm in diagonal line with the rest of the body. So sink that hip and stretch and open. Big deep breath. Let's bring that back to warrior three or two. I keep doing that today. Step that back foot in, bend the knees, step it in. Triangle pose. An option to do the bound angle if you want. Bound triangle if you want. So after the triangle, we're going to come back to mountain and we're going to get those weights for the shoulders. And then we're going to finish with that flow that we just did, all those things that we just did on the other side. So remember what leg was in front and get the dumbbells that you feel would be heavy but not hurt you. Just break down the muscle a little bit on the shoulders. So if you are injury free, past or present, you can do the shoulder overhead press. And if you have an injury you have to work around, you're going to do the side shoulder raise. So we're in mountain. And you can just stand in mountain and do this. Do your overhead press or your straight arm side shoulder raise. If you do the straight arm raise, never take the dumbbell higher than your shoulder joint. That can be very dangerous for your rotator cuff. So very careful there. Another option is to chair pose and shoulder press. So your choice. And then that would also go chair pose to side shoulder raise when you're standing in mountain. So you flow at your own pace. We're only doing up to 10 because today we're working with a little heavier, so less reps.
Here's what I found.
Keep that chin up, keep those abs in. Great. Now, we're going to set those dumbbells down. And we're going to kind of flow in a reverse pattern on this other side. So now we're going to be in mountain. And we're going to go to lunge with the opposite foot forward now. So we had that other leg forward before. Now we're in our lunge. We're finding our focal point. This is our last standing position. So if you need more time to get down to the floor, remember to take that time. Drop that back foot at an angle. Let's go to our warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Let's drop the back hand down and lift that front hand up. Nice, big, deep, full breath. And then drop the elbow to the middle of the thigh, sink the hip. Breathe. And extend that arm, side angle pose. You could also slide this front hand down as long as you can sink the hip. If the hip's popped up, then don't go any lower. You want to work on getting that hip in the same line with this body. Breathe. Take a deep breath. We'll step that back foot in a little bit. Let's go to that triangle pose. You can bind that if that's accessible for you. Nice deep breath. And then let's come into that lunge. So remember, I gave you the option for the high or the low lunge. So go to whichever one you did so that we're even on each side. So same thing. Nice, big, deep, full breath. And let's go to all fours, cat-cow. Working the long, skinny muscles along the spine. Let's go to bird dog and hold. And let's switch. Keep breathing. The hand is directly under the shoulder. We're not locking any elbows. We're holding the core tight. We're pulling the abs up against gravity. We're lengthening from those fingers to those toes. Let's push back child's pose. Option to flow here. If you have a chaturanga practice, you can flow here a little. You can add anything you want. I'm going to have you, those of you that are staying with me, walk back and get a quad stretch, a top of the foot and top of the ankle, shin, knee, and quad stretch here. So you can have your hands down if your body won't let you sit all the way back in a hero. So this is lion pose with the hands down. And then it's hero with the hands on the thighs. And then depending on flexibility, you might be able to go back and you might be able to lift those hips. Keep the throat open by not kinking the neck. And then in your flow somewhere, find a down dog also for the back of the legs. So extended arm child's pose or balasana sets us up perfectly where we don't have to move our hands and feet to go right into that down dog. And then let's go on to our back. Take your time getting down there on your back. Hands down by the sides. Elongate the neck. Keep the natural arch in that neck. Pull the heels in close to the body. And let's lift in a bridge. So you could add your squeeze object if you wanted to. Option, when you're in your bridge, keeping the arch in the neck, you could roll one shoulder under, roll the other shoulder under. You might be able to hold your ankles. You might clasp your hands underneath, or you might take your hands and prop those hips up. Keep the arch of the neck naturally. Breathe. I want you to belly breathe here. Don't let the knees pop open. Keep the knees and toes forward. I want you to look gently with just your eyeballs. Look at your belly and watch it rise and fall. Good belly breath. Really squeeze the glutes. Really focus on squeezing the glutes. Act like you're squeezing an object between the knees. Even if you're not, just act like it. Engaging deep in that core. And then when you're ready, release that bridge. Slowly bring the knees to chest. And gently rock side to side. Let's stretch out long across the earth. Stretch out, reaching and stretching through every finger and every toe. Nice, deep, full breath. Let the feet fall out. Bring the arms down by the sides. Let the arms go wherever it feels good. Relaxing into the earth, taking just a moment for yourself, for your body to be heavy and cradled by the earth. Letting the facial muscles relax, unwrinkling the forehead, letting the eyes float back, letting the shoulders sink towards the earth. Feeling the breath. When you're ready, gently rolling to one side. Just a quick reminder to continue to take care of yourself today. This was a great little self-care moment. And remember that every moment you have to take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish, and you should be very proud of yourself for taking a moment to stretch and strengthen and breathe and let go of everything outside of the mat. Let's take some nice, deep, full breaths. Find a comfortable position, whatever that is for you, whether it's cross-leg position or just sitting with your legs straight out, whatever feels good to you, half lotus, full lotus. And take the longest, deepest breath you've had today. Namaste.